Okay, so welcome back. We will continue with transfer pricing. So now in the last session we did the basics of transfer pricing and also we did some problems. Now in the next topic you can write the heading. We saw the concept of Gauss congruence and what do you mean by Gauss congruence and when do you require a Gauss congruence. We saw that Gauss congruence is the concept of Gauss congruence is much relevant when there is a conflict between the divisions with respect to the transfer price to be determined. Okay, so in order to bring in Gauss congruence, what we need is we need to bring some mechanism for removing the conflict between this divisions. Am I right? Yes. So that is what we are going to see now. Proposals for resolving transfer pricing conflict. You can write the heading. Proposals for resolving transfer pricing conflict. TP conflict. Okay. So the objective of any TP method is what? Is to achieve Gauss congruence. Okay, and we saw what do you mean by Gauss congruence. Gauss congruence is a principle where the goal of divisions should match with the ultimate goal of the entity. Okay, so when does this significant? This is significant when there is conflict between divisions. Okay, and in this case I told you whenever we talk about the conflict between divisions, it will be mainly based on determination of transfer price. So this is based on fixation of TP. Okay, so situations may arise when the divisional managers may fail to come into an agreement with respect to the transfer price. However, in the best interest of the organization, it is advisable to transfer goods or services internally. Okay, so the requirement is organization want to go for internal transfer. Okay, but what is the problem? The problem is divisional managers of buying division and selling divisions could not agree on TP. Okay, if they cannot agree on a single TP, then what would be the other option? Either the management will have to resolve their conflict or they will have to impose any TP. But imposing any TP will be against the principles of autonomy. Okay, because if you are treating a particular division or a particular unit as a profit center, then the divisional manager or the manager of that particular unit should be given the freedom to take decision with respect to from whom the goods have to be bought or to whom the goods have to be sold and what rate it has to be bought and sold. So at least that basic decision should be taken by whom? The divisional managers. Okay, so to some extent the company or the management, top management cannot force these divisional managers to agree on internal transfer. But at the same time, internal transfer is at the best interest of the entity or organization as a whole. So in such scenarios, in order to resolve the conflict between the divisions, we have two different methods of fixing the transfer pricing. Okay, so those are known as one, you can write special methods of transfer price to resolve conflict. Okay, and which is that first method? The first method is known as two-part, before that, dual rate TP system. Dual rate transfer pricing system. Okay, what is this dual rate transfer pricing system? In dual rate pricing decision or transfer pricing system, let me try to explain this with the help of an example. Suppose there is a company AB Limited, and this companies have division A and division B. There is a transfer of a particular component from A to B. Okay, now both A, this is the selling division and this is the buying division. The buying division will compute the maximum TP and the selling division will compute what? The minimum TP. And minimum TP came to 80 per unit, whereas maximum TP came to rupees 75 per unit. Okay, so minimum TP is 80 per unit, which says whereby division A says that we will transfer the goods only if the TP fixed is higher than rupees 80. Whereas divisional manager of division B says that we will buy the product only if the TP is less than 75. Okay, and both will not come together because transfer price above 80 and transfer price below 75. One will buy only if the price is lower than 75. One will sell only if the price is above 80. So there is a conflict. So what you have to do? You will fix two separate TPs for both buying division and selling division. And this is not for different transactions, for a single transaction. So what will happen here? Here in this case, the transfer price applicable for a division A will be, let us say, rupees 82 per unit, and the TP applicable for division B will be, let us say, 73 per unit. So both are happy. On one side, division A is getting 82 on the goods that they are selling, which is higher than the minimum TP, whereas division B, which is the buying division, is getting this product at a cost of 73, which is lower than the maximum TP. So naturally what will happen? Both division A and division B are happy to transfer the goods internally. Now the question is, what will the company do, AB Limited will do with respect to these different transfer prices? Okay, the different transfer prices, one party buying division charges 73 or account 73, whereas selling division charges 82. There is a difference of how much? 9 rupee per unit sold. There is a difference. What to do with this rupees 9? This will be adjusted internally. Adjusted internally. How it can be adjusted internally? See, both A division and B division are only internal divisions. So any revenue, any transfer price between A and B, that is not going to affect the overall profitability of the entity. Am I right? So whether it is at 82 or 73, it doesn't make any difference. Similarly, whether if it is 82 for A and 73 for B, that also is not going to affect the entity. Okay, so the separate or dual TPs will not affect the profitability AB Limited, but it will affect the profitability of divisions A and B respectively. Is it clear? So this is what is known as dual rate transfer pricing system. So what is dual pricing transfer pricing system is what we are going to see now. Okay, so you can write in this method of TP fixation, different rates of transfer prices will be fixed for selling division and buying division separately. Such a practice of charging different TPs for buying division and selling division separately will affect the divisional profitability comma but will not affect the organization profitability, the organization's profitability. So this is the method of fixing the fixing the transfer price in a dual rate system. Okay, so in dual rate system, TP system, the TP for buying division will be less than the maximum TP, and for that of the selling division will be more than the minimum TP. Okay, therefore both the divisions will be ready to accept the internal transfers, internal transfer of goods and services. Is it clear? That is dual rate transfer pricing system. Now there is one more method that is known as two-part transfer pricing system. Two-part transfer pricing system. Okay, so in two-part transfer pricing system, what you are doing is the transfer price will have two parts, part 1 plus part 2. What will be part 1? Part 1 will be cost of the product transferred. Okay, plus what would be part 2? Part 2 will be lump sum charge, say 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakhs rupees, or some amount which will be added on lump sum basis. Okay, now what is the logic behind these two such a transfer price? Okay, in this transfer price, the price will be total of total cost plus a lump sum charge. Okay, now what is this cost? This cost could be, what all things it could be? It could be marginal cost or total cost or incremental cost. Okay, why this part? This will ensure the recovery of incremental cost. Okay, so whatever incremental cost is incurred by the selling division, that will be recovered using this first part. Then what about second part, that is lump sum charge? This lump sum charge will ensure that a sum over and above the marginal cost is received. A sum over and above the marginal cost will be reserved. Why it should be received? This will ensure recovery of fixed overheads. If not considered as what? Considered as part of cost or adequate profit. Okay, so the transfer price will be fixed in such a manner where the cost of the product transferred, that will be considered, plus a lump sum charge will be given, and this lump sum charge will help the transferring division, that is the selling divisions, to recoup the entire fixed overheads or even to make profit on that. Okay, so that is two-part system. So you can write, in two-part system of TP fixation, the TP will have two parts. Part 1 will cover the marginal cost of goods or services transferred, and the part 2 will cover a lump sum amount to recoup the fixed overheads and or ensure adequate profits. Okay, so that is two-part system. Now we will have to move to a case study. Case study is given in page number 9.23, case scenario. 9.23 case scenario, please take. Please read the question. Okay, so read the question. Global Multinational Limited, GML, has two divisions, DX and DZ, with full profit responsibility. What is full profit responsibility? It means that they are organized as profit centers. They are organized as profit centers. Okay, now the division DX produces component X. So division DX produces component X. So GML is the name of the company, right? GML. It has got two divisions. Division DX and division DZ. Okay, and the division DX produces component X. So division DX produces component X, then which it sells to outside customers only. So what DX is doing, this entire production is sold in the external market. As of now, there is no internal transfer. Okay, now division Z produces a product called Z. So this is product Z. Produce a product called product Z, which incorporates component X in its design. Okay, so this require component X. Okay, now DZ division is currently purchasing required quantity of component X per year from an outside supplier at market price. Okay, so what is product Z or division Z is doing right now? It is purchasing X from outside supplier. Okay, now new CEO of for Indian operations has explored that DX division has enough capacity to meet entire requirements of DZ, and accordingly he requires internal transfer between divisions at marginal cost from the overall company's perspective. Okay, now this is the existing system. And a new CEO has been joined. New CEO, and he evaluated the viability of internal transfer of component X. Why he was taken such a decision, he was inquiring such a decision is there is spare capacity. There is spare capacity for division DX. So when division DX has a spare capacity, then why should division Z purchase this component from an outside party? That is a question. Okay, so the CEO wanted DZ to purchase this component X from division DX itself, because it is the best decision from the company's perspective. Okay, so since it is best decision from the perspective of GML, the divisional manager should give more importance or more priority for the organizational goal or for this decision. Okay, now what is the issue with this decision? The manager of division X claims that transfer at marginal cost are unsuitable for performance evaluation, since they don't provide an incentive to the division to transfer the goods internally. Yes. So what's happening is the CEO suggested marginal cost to be fixed as the transfer price. So suggestion from TP, transfer price should be marginal cost. Marginal cost means what? The additional cost incurred by the company. That should be the TP. So what did division X said? The manager of division X said, if we were to transfer these goods at no profit, no loss, at incremental profit, incremental cost only or marginal cost only, then why should we do the internal transfer? Why can't we retain from producing? Okay, maybe because in the company's perspective, it is always better to resort to internal transfer. But from division DX perspective, if they are not getting any margin, then why should they do this internal transfer? That is the question. Okay, now going further, he stressed that the transfer price should be cost plus a markup. Yes, the manager of division X specified that no, we can't price the product, or we can't fix the TP at marginal cost, but it should be cost plus a specified markup, so that this will help the division to improve its profitability also, and to force the division to sell it internally. Okay, now new CEO worries that the transfer price suggested by the manager of division X will not induce managers of both divisions to make optimum decisions. Required. Discuss transfer pricing methods to overcome performance evaluation conflicts. Yes. So what's happening here? There are two divisions, and the two divisions have divisional managers, and the component or output of one division is used as the input of the other division. So one of the CEO, newly joined CEO, what he suggested was to, instead of purchasing this component from abroad, it is all or outside customer, it is always better to go for internal transfer. But the problem is, he has suggested the transfer marginal costing as the basis for fixing the TP, but which was objected by the manager of DX. He said that why should he sell the goods, transfer the goods to DZ if he is not getting any benefit out of it? Okay, so how to resolve this particular situation? How to resolve? There are two methods in which this can be resolved. One is dual rate transfer pricing system, and the other one is two-part transfer pricing system. Okay, so how to resolve? Conflict between selling division and buying division may be removed by following two-part TP and dual rate TP. Okay, these are the two methods. Now, what do you mean by dual rate method and two-part TP? We have already discussed. Okay, so you just need to fill up what is the benefit and what would be the impact. Okay, of these two machines, these two divisions, and how this will induce the divisions to go for internal transfer. That also may be done. So in dual rate TP, what happens? Separate rates will be fixed by both the divisions. So these will be favorable rates, so that both the divisions will ensure that they are making sufficient profits, so that it will not affect their this one. And also the internal transfer will be happening, due to which the company will be benefited. Okay, right. I'm not giving too much stress on this, because it's a very simple problem. You just need to write the theory. That's all. Okay. Now, write the heading: International transfer pricing. What do you mean by international transfer pricing? TP fixed for transfer of goods or services between whom? Between buying division and selling division. But both buying division and selling division are located different countries. Both buying division and selling division will be located in two different countries. That is why it is known as international transfer pricing. Okay, all right. You can take question number, page number 9.25 in that example. 9.25 example. Please read the question. Okay, so what is given in the question? A car manufacturing company has two manufacturing divisions in different countries. Two manufacturing divisions. So a car manufacturing company has two divisions. Okay, now division A and division B. Now division A, it is located in India, whereas division B is located in Italy. Okay, now what does division A do? Division A is manufacturing engines for the cars. So division A is manufacturing engines for cars, whereas, and there are some information, it has a capacity to manufacture 10,000 units each year. So capacity of production capacity 10,000 units. Okay, then variable cost of production is 8,000 per unit. Variable cost of 8,000 per unit, and the sale demand in India 8,000 units, and selling price per unit is rupees 11,000 per unit. Okay, so these are the available information. Now what does division B do? Division B is in Italy and requires 5,000 engines every year to assemble them into further into cars. So they are manufacturing car. Okay, require what? Engine. From where? From division A. Okay, so because this is assembled into using the engines and other parts, they are manufacturing, they are assembling the cars. Okay, now the existing purchase price or purchase cost per engine, what is that? Rupees 8,000, no, rupees 9,000 per unit. Presently they are purchasing the engines from a vendor at an equivalent rate of rupees 9,000 per unit. Okay, and if division B were to purchase these units from division A, the transfer price would be 10,000 per unit. Okay, so they have agreed. Since no selling prices need to be incurred on internal sales, the variable cost of such transfers would be 7,000. So we have internal transfer of engines. Selling price or transfer price will be 10,000. But variable cost per unit is not 8,000, but it will be 7,000. Is it clear? If division A accepts the internal order from division B, it will have to curtail some of its external sales. Why external sales? Because the capacity, if you see division A, how many units of division engines are required by division B? Division B requires 5,000 units, right? Five thousand units are required, but here what is the spare capacity available? 10,000, 8,000, 2,000 only. So requirement is 5,000 less spare capacity available. Balance to be diverted. Okay, so 3,000 units they have to divert from the existing production, but 2,000 units they can take it with the spare capacity. Okay, right. Now, given that the tax rate in India is 30%, and tax rate in Italy okay, tax rate in 40% in Italy, determine if the company will benefit overall if division B purchases from division A. So the questions to be answered is whether division B purchases engines from division A. Okay, now determine if the company will benefit overall if division B purchases from division A. That is the question. Now what you have to do, you have to see there are two options. Selling price per unit, variable cost per unit is 8,000. Contribution per unit is 3,000. Similarly, if internal transfer is resorted, transfer price is 10,000 less variable cost per unit after saved. Okay, so what is the conclusion you can make? Whether there is external sale or internal sale, the contributions to the selling division is same. Contribution per unit for both external sales and internal sales, the contribution per unit does not change. Okay, right. Now okay, does not change. So if contribution per unit does not change, what is the inference we can make? Hence there is no opportunity cost if the selling division diverts the external sales external sales internally. Okay, now you have to find out what is the number of external sales lost. To be foregone. Total capacity is 10,000 units less existing production okay. Now so surplus capacity is 2000 units, number of engines to be internally 5000 units, therefore number of engines to be diverted from present sales is 300 units. Okay, therefore you have to see incremental benefit to division A. What's happening with division A? Division A is getting additional sale of 3000 units. How many additional units has been sold? Additional units sold is not 5000 units, it's only 3000 units. Why? Because no, it's only 2000 units, because 3000 units, total 5000 units are transferred. Out of that, 3000 units are taken from the existing production, and the contribution earned for existing production as well as the internal transit is one and the same. So there is no opportunity cost for these 3000 units which is taken from the existing production. So additional number of units sold or transferred will be only 5000 units minus number of units diverted from existing sales. So additional number of units sold or transferred will be 2000 units. Okay, therefore additional contribution, when there is additional units sold, there is additional contribution, that is rupees 3000 per unit into 2000 units. That will give you rupees how much? 60 lakhs. 60 lakhs. Okay, now when there is an additional contribution to the extent of 60 lakhs. This is division A. So this is before tax less tax rate 30%. Therefore, net benefit additional to division A $42 lakhs. $42 lakhs. Now that is the additional contribution to division A. Now next, additional cost to division B. Division B will have an additional cost. Okay, so how to compute the additional cost? It should be compared with the transfer price should be compared with the present purchase price. Present purchase price is equal to rupees 9,000 per unit. Then proposed new selling price will be rupees 10,000 per unit. Okay, therefore additional cost is 1,000 per unit. 1,000 per unit. Therefore, additional cost on 5,000 units so 50 lakhs. Okay, now what will happen? This is additional cost, but there is tax expense less tax savings at 40%. Okay, so net cost will be rupees 30 lakhs. Therefore, net benefit to the company is equal to rupees 42 lakhs minus rupees 30 lakhs, that is rupees 1. Okay, so what is the question? Determine if the company will benefit overall if division B purchases from division A. So you can conclude thus, if division B purchase engine from division A, the net benefit to the company will be rupees 12 lakhs. Is it clear? Okay, right. Now okay, so the conclusion will be the company will be benefited by rupees 12 lakhs if division B purchases engines from division A, net of tax. So one aspect which we have to consider in case of international transfer pricing is the effect of tax rates. Okay, so you can write a note. In case of international transfer pricing, the tax laws will require different treatment treatment different treatment in each country. Tax perspective is one most important consideration in international transfer pricing. Okay, see, when we talk about international transfer pricing, don't get confused with your international taxation in your direct tax. Both are completely different. Okay, right. So now I think we can do one problem. We can take question number, illustration given in page number 9.27. Illustration in page number 9.27. Read the question. Okay, so what is given in the question? ABC minus operates two divisions, one in Japan and other in United Kingdom, UK. ABC minus has two divisions. Division A. Okay, and I would it's not division A, it's Japan division and UK division. What's happening in Japan division? Japan division is doing the mining, and UK division, they are doing the processing. Okay, now Japan divisions buy emerald from, okay, what do they mine? They mine raw emerald. Okay, so Japan mines the raw emerald, which is transferred to UK division. UK division processes it. Okay, so they are the processing division. Now the cost details are given, both variable cost as well as fixed cost. And in case of Japan division, the costs are given per carat of raw emerald, whereas in case of United Kingdom, UK processing division, per carat of polished demand. And in case of Japan, it is in yen, which is their local currency, but where in case of UK, it is in pounds. Okay, now going further, several polishing companies in Japan buy raw emerald from other local mining companies at 9,000 yen per carat. Yes, so what does it mean? The price per carat of raw emerald in Japan is equal to 9,000 yen. Okay, then exchange rate is given because you need to you need to employ two different currencies, one is pound and one is yen. Income tax rates in Japan is 20%, and in case of UK it is 30%. Okay, and it takes 2 carats of raw emerald to get processed and to yield 1 carat of polished emerald. Okay, and the final polished emerald sold for, what is the rate? 3,000 pounds. Okay, 3,000 pounds per carat. Now what are the requirements? Compute transfer price of 1 carat of raw material transferred from mining divisions to the processing division. Okay, mining division to the processing division under two methods, 200% full cost and market price. Okay, so calculation of TP. Okay, computation of TP. Under that, A, is it A? Yeah, 200% full cost. Full cost method. Okay, so how do you compute that? What is the total cost incurred by Japan? Variable cost of 2500 yen and fixed cost of 5000 yen. Okay, so total cost will be Japan division is equal to, okay, total cost 2500 plus yen 5000, so that is equal to yen 7500. That is the full cost. Therefore market transfer price is equal to how much? What is the transfer price? Transfer price is 200% of yen 7500, that is nothing but 15,000 yen. Okay, and whatever information given here is per carat of raw emerald, it's per carat. Okay, so it is total cost to per carat. Okay, and this is also per carat. Now when they quote the transfer price to the UK division, it should be quoted in UK pound. Okay, so you will have to say that 1000 in UK pound, transfer price in UK pound, 15,000 yen per carat, that is the rate. Now what is the exchange rate? Exchange rate is 50 yen per pound. So therefore this will be 15,000 yen divided by 50 yen per pound, that is equal to this and this get cancelled. So 15,000 divided by 50, 15,000 divided by 50 will be pound 300. Okay, so here the transfer price will be 15,000 yen per carat or 300 pounds per carat. Now this is at 200% of full cost method. Now there is one more method that is asked, which is that market price. Market price. Okay, so you can write, it's given that the raw emerald can be purchased in Japan from other vendors at, what is the rate at which it is available from other vendors? It is 9,000 yen, at 9,000 yen per carat. Therefore the transfer price to be fixed shall be 9,000 per carat, or what will be the equivalent value in pounds? Or pound, 9,000 divided by how much? 50 yen per pound. Okay, so 9,000 divided by 50 will be 180 pounds. 180 pounds. Okay, so that is the first part. Compute the transfer price. This we have done. Now second, what is the second question? 1,000 carats of raw emerald are mined by the Japan mining division and then processed and sold by the UK processing division. Compute the after tax operating income for each division under both transfer pricing methods stated in 1. Okay, so you are asked to find out the operating profitability statement. operating statement. That is what we need to prepare. Now here you are given with the operating details of both these entities, and what do they say? 1000 carats of raw emerald are mined by Japan division. And what happens from this? How many carats of the polished emerald will be received? You can sell, or you can make out 500 carats of polished emerald. Am I right? Okay. So you have to find out what would be the profitability after tax for each of these division for this operating level or operating activity level. Okay. So statement of operating profitability statement, you have Japan division and UK division, and that also you have to prepare the profitability statement under both the TP methods stated in one, that is cost and market price. Cost and market price. Okay, so here you can write at cost plus at market price TP. Here also at cost plus TP at market price TP. Okay. Right. Now what do you have to do? This should be represented in yen and this should be in pound. Transfer price per carat. Okay. Cost plus method, what was the transfer price? It was 15,000 carat or 300 pounds. 15,000 yen per carat here, or here it was 300. Okay. Now whereas in market price based it was 9,000 yen per carat or 180 pounds per carat. So this is 180. Okay. Now what do you have to do? You have to find out the profitability statement. Okay. Quantity of output sold or transferred. Here Japanese division, they have sold 1000 carats, here also 1000. What about UK division? UK division, using this 1000 carats, they can manufacture, they can produce how many units? Only 500 units. Okay, so it will be 500. Is it clear? Okay. Now selling price or transfer price. Okay. $180 less, what do you have to do? Variable cost. Variable cost per unit or variable cost per carat. Okay. Now what all will be the variable cost? In case of the first one, variable cost, that is in case of Japanese division, the variable cost is 2500 yen. So variable processing cost 2500, then 2500. What about the other one? It is 150 pounds. So here 150 and here also 150. Then you have the raw emerald procured from Japan division. This will be applicable only for UK division, because UK division has to consider what the transfer price also. So what is the rate at which this is taken? This is 300, and here it will be 300 into 2. Okay, so this will be rupees 600, and here it will be 180 into 2, that is rupees 360. By you will have to multiply the raw material cost or raw emerald cost by into 2. Why it should be multiplied into 2? Because for each output or for each polished emerald, you require 2 units of the raw emerald. So that is why you are multiplying it with 2. Okay, so 600 and 360. So what you are getting is, you are getting the contribution per carat. Contribution per carat will be 15,000 minus 2,500, that is 12,500. Here also 9,000 minus 2,500, 6,500. Here it will be, no, did I make any mistake? Sorry, the selling price is not 300 and 180. What is given here? They say that the polished emeralds are sold at 3,000 pounds per carat. Okay, so that will be the selling price. Okay, made a mistake. 3,000 and 3,000. Okay, please correct. So here it will be 3,000 minus 150 minus 600, 2,250. Then again 3,000 minus 150 minus 360, 2490. Then what you have to do? Less fixed cost. Generally what you do, once you compute the contribution per unit, you will multiply that with the number of units and you find out the total contribution. Then from the total contribution only you reduce what? The fixed cost. But here the problem is, what is given here in the question is not the total fixed cost, it is fixed cost per carat of the raw emerald as well as per carat of polished emerald. So you can't compute the total fixed cost because that is not available here. Okay, the budgeted activity and all is not available. So what we are doing is, we are considering the fixed cost per unit itself. Okay, per carat. Okay, so here under that you can write total budget activity for computing fixed cost is not available. If it was available, then you could have easily multiplied the contribution with the number of units and you could have computed the total contribution, from which you can reduce the total fixed cost. That was the ideal method. Okay, but here that information is not available. So even if you want to do that way, what you will have to do, you will have to multiply this fixed cost per unit with the number of units sold itself, and that does not make any change, or that does not make any difference in this calculation. Okay, so here it will be, what is the fixed cost per carat? It is 5,350 pounds. 5,000 yen here and 5,000 yen here and 350 pounds. £350. So you have the profit before tax. 12,500 minus 5,000 will be 7,500. 7,500, and here it will be 6,500 minus 5,000 will be 1,500. Then 2250 minus 350, this will be pounds in 1,900. Then 2490 minus 350 will be pound 2140. Okay, now less tax. Tax at 20% for Japan or 30% at UK. So 7,500 into 20 will be 1,500 here and 300 here. Then 30%, 1,900 into 30% will be 570 here. 2140 into 0.3 will be 642. Okay, 642. So that will take you to the profit after tax. Profit after tax. Okay, 7,500 minus 1,500, that is 6,000. Then here it is 1,200. Then 1,900 minus 570, pound 1,330. Then 2140 minus 642, 1,498. Okay, then number of finished outputs transferred or sold. In case of Japan division, it will be the raw emerald, whereas in case of UK division, it will be polished emeralds. So here it is 1,000, then 1,000. Here it will be 500, because from each raw emerald you will get one polished emerald. So here 500 and 500 carats. Therefore total profit is, here this is 60 lakhs, here it is 12 lakhs. Then 1,330 into 500 will be pounds 6,65,000, and here 1,498 into 500, that is 7,49,000. 7,49,000. Okay, now if you convert everything into what you call the UK pounds, it will be like, comparison, 60 lakhs divided by 50 will be 1,200. 1,20,000. 1,200 hundreds, or 1,20,000 here. Then 12 lakhs divided by 50 will be 24,000. Okay, this will be 6,65,000 itself. Okay, right. So this is the profitability statement. I think with that this question should be over. compute the after tax operating income for each division under both the transfer price methods stated above in 1. Okay, right. Now I think with this chapter is over. Then you will have to go to the exercise problems. Okay, in the exercise problems you can take page number 9.33 in that question number 1. It's a basic problem. Question number 1. Okay, let's read the question. G is the transferring division and R the receiving division in a company. R has a demand for 20% of G's production capacity, which has to be first met as per the company's policy. So there are two divisions, G then R. G is the transferring division or selling division, and R is the receiving division or buying division. Then R has a demand of how much? 20% of the production capacity of G, and as per the company's policy this demand has to be met at the beginning itself. Now state with reason which division, G or R, enjoys more advantage in each of the following independent situations, assuming no inventory build up. Okay, so which division is getting the more benefit, that is what you have to compute or calculate. Okay, now how to do that? We have the situations here given one by one. Serial number 1, G transfers to R at transfer price equal to full cost, there is no markup. G's production level, it is given to be 60, external demand is 40. Okay, so division having production level is 60 and external demand is 40, and division having more advantage, and the reason has to be explained. Okay, who is having a advantage here? Okay, so what is the cost here? What is the product is sold at full cost without any markup. Okay, so which division is having more advantage here? Here if you see, the production level is 60. Why 60? Only 40 is external demand, plus 20 will be what? The internal demand. Okay, and at what rate G is selling or transferring the goods to R? They are transferring at full cost plus no markup. There is no markup, there is no profit, but the products are sold at full cost. So by pricing the internal transfer goods at full cost, G is able to recover what? the entire cost, including a component, entire variable cost and a component of the fixed cost. Okay, so even though the external demand is only 40%, by resorting to this internal transfer, G is able to recoup or recover what a portion of its fixed cost also, fixed overhead also. Therefore, to that extent, it is beneficial for G. Is it clear? Now, when we evaluate from the perspective of R, what about R? Generally, if R is going to purchase this particular product from the external market, what will happen? The R will have to pay a price which is equivalent to the total cost plus markup. But by resorting to this internal transfer, R is able to save what? The profit margin which otherwise would have payable to the external sellers or external suppliers. Okay, so in this case, both G and R are having advantages. Is it clear? Now, if you see the answer what is given in the study material, it is little bit confusing. But this is what you can write here. Okay, here G is having an advantage. Why G is having an advantage? Because here for the purpose of manufacturing this 20% additional units which are sold transferred as internal goods, the company will incur only the variable cost. Additionally, only the variable cost will be incurred. But these goods are priced at full cost without any markup. So as far as G is concerned, G is able to recover a portion of fixed overheads also. So it is beneficial to G. On the other hand, as far as R is concerned, if R is going to purchase the same product from outside market, they will have to pay what? Full cost plus markup. But here, since it is internal transfer, they need not pay what? Markup. So they are also, it is also advantageous to them. Okay, so you can write 1. In this case, both divisions G and R are benefited. Okay, as far as G is concerned, it is able to recover a portion of its fixed overheads, by pricing the product at full cost. Hence, the internal transfer is advantageous to G. On the other hand, R need to pay only the full cost as the price of the product. I think the connection is gone.